And this is the first time I've seen this, but there is a toilet drain. Today we're taking a look at the ScaleTrains HO Scale Conrail C39-8 diesel locomotive, and it's actually patched by Norfolk Southern. Alright, so let's start here in the front. So this locomotive comes with a standard width cab and a rounded roof. On top we have the headlights, number boards on the side, and some blacked out marker lights. And if you look at it from the front, you can actually see a hanging grab iron, a bar windshield wiper, and windshield wipers on the sides. On top of the hood we have some sand filler hatches and an air vent. At the nose is actually kind of like a rounded square shape. Then we got white painted grab irons on top, in the front, and the sides. And there is the Conrail letter logo in the front. Then we have some stanchions with chains, some ditch lights at the bottom, and this red MU cable is asymmetrical. And interesting thing on the anti-climber, there is this metal loop, maybe to hold the MU cable, I don't know. Then we got these three hoses here on each side, a train line hose, and this sharp looking plow. And there is a metal knuckle coupler. Also on this side there is a red MU cable receptacle. This side also has a door handle, and a step to get up, while the other side instead has a brake wheel and a grab iron. Now let's go take a look at the side. Here you can see some molded in hatches, all sorts of little rivets and details. Here's a side cab window with a mirror / wind deflector. Now a cool thing about these windows is that they actually open up, although the front one is a bit stiff. Here you can see it does come with an interior with seats and a control stand. Then down below we have this patch road number 8204 for Norfolk Southern, and there's actually two markings for its class number. And then down below we have the bogie. The bogie has printed text, suspension springs, some wiring above, jack pad. There also is this red cable going to the axle generator for the speed recorder, and separate sanding lines in the front and the back. The wheels are also painted in this weathered brown color. I also noticed there was a hanging walkway light in the stepwell. Then in the back of the cab we have this window with a windshield wiper. Then on top we have these two vents. They actually have little holes inside. Lots of high voltage warning labels, an air filter on top, door handle here, and a bunch of these panels that can open up. And down here we have 600 volts. Underneath that we have an air reservoir tank, and here is the emergency fuel cutoff switch. And then we have this stretched Conrail logo. It looks pretty awesome for a livery. Then below we have the fuel tank. Cool little printed label here talking about do not overfill, save fuel. The fuel height gauge, and there's this random rectangle at the bottom. I also found it interesting that the sill actually has white here, then blue, then turns white, and then blue again, and then white. Then in the back we have the radiator section, and they actually have see-through etched metal pieces so you can see inside. Lots of tiny little labeling, toolbox, stickers underneath. And on the rear truck we have this yellow EOT end of train device holder. There also is another air reservoir tank on this side, and a lot of these texts are actually quite legible. Now let's go check out the back. So here in the back it says Conrail here, a twin headlight, number boards on the sides, blacked out marker lights, and lifting points. And there is a grab iron ladder on the left, and a couple of these white painted grab irons. And actually I was surprised that these stanchions are actually two separate pieces, so you can see they're moving apart from each other. And at the bottom we have some spare knuckle coupler holders, the F and the E, and there is a gangplank at the edge. Also for some reason there's grab irons at the bottom. And here is the other side. It looks pretty much the same thing. Maybe this part's a little bit different. And there is a step up here, and the walls have molded in panels, the door to the cab, and a bunch of these vents on the side. And then down below we have two air filters, and there is a steel belt hidden behind the pipe. This side also contains a brake chain that hooks up to the brake wheel. And this is the first time I've seen this, but there is a toilet drain. Alright, now let's go check out the roof. So on top you can see the treading on the walkway makes it nice and grippy, see-through etched metal steps. And then we have some Sinclair antennas, a small one and a normal size one. And you can actually see the blower motors on the inside of the dynamic brake housing. A lot of latches molded in, and then here in the middle we have the horn. Now I totally didn't expect this, but this horn is actually flat, so I was a bit confused. But it turns out it's just an air horn cover, which they do use in the prototype. And then after that is the exhaust stack and the radiator, which has some nice molded in treading, and there is a sand filler hatch in the back. Alright, so here's how it looks like from the bottom. It's interesting, there's like an extra bump between the first axles. Then we have the air reservoir tank, the fuel tank, reservoir tank, truck in the back. So So I bought its successor, the Dash 9, while this one is a Dash 8. You can see it's very different in the front. Most Dash 9s will have this newer, wider nose cab, while this C39-8 uses an older standard cab design, which you'll often see on these road switchers like the GP38-2. You can see they have narrow noses, although they do have different styles. AMD has kind of an angular roof, while GE likes to have this rounded roof. You can see the general layout, it's pretty much the same. They even both use those bar windshield wipers, although it appears that GE is actually built slightly higher than EMD's. Now if we compare it from the side, the GEs actually have a similar layout, you know, the vents, exhaust stack, the radiator in the back, it's actually quite similar, although in the Dash 9 they have this extra thing in the back. And here's with the horn cover versus a normal looking horn. I also noticed the coupler holders are different orientation, Conrails are sideways, BNSF is vertical. This locomotive also has a higher floor than the BNSF. So basically this locomotive is basically this one with this standard cab in the front. So I also picked up a ScaleTrains 2 hooded coil steel car. This one comes with mismatched hoods. One is Union Pacific, while the other one is Norfolk Southern. So let's start here in the front. So here's the front. It says UP for Union Pacific, car number, and some railings on the sides. Some printed details here. And it comes with a see-through etched metal walkway, a die-cast metal lower shelf knuckle coupler, a train line hose to the side, and a coupler cut lever. So on the hood section, we have the Union Pacific logo, and to the sides we have some support structures and a handle in the middle. And here's what it looks like from the front, and then we'll move to the side where you could see some printed detail here, a lifting jack point, the car number here, and some alignment triangles, weight, and then we have some spines sticking out to support the walkway, the yellow FRA striping, and if you look at the truck you can see there is molded detail here, and they also blackened the inside of these wheels. That's interesting. So on the bottom of the car you can see a bit of the air brake system piping, and the other side is using this white Norfolk Southern cover. This is an older logo without the horse, caution label to the side, and then in the middle there's a bit of a gap, some more detail down below, and you can see this is a throttle car, more labeling and stirrup step, and apparently it's a Type 3. Now although they look similar, they're actually two different designs. The railings line up differently and the number of points they have vary, and also they have different styles for the corners of the cars. And here's how the other side of the car looks like. Here we have a brake wheel, and here's how it looks like on the other side. There's a retaining valve here, caution insulated cover, do not apply heat, and now here's what it looks like from the top view. And then here's what it looks like at the bottom. Nice fully modeled air brake system, piping. Now you can actually remove these hoods. And here's what it looks like inside, just a hollow shell, and here's the other one. Now the reason why it comes with stilts is so that you can actually stack it. So I guess this is how you would store a bunch of them. And one thing I've noticed is that this particular hood, it actually has triangles on one of the stilts, while the other hood is flat on both ends. And here's how the inside of the car looks like. Nice wooden planks, and there is this gray divider here in the middle. It's actually permanently there. And this car comes with 6 coil steel loads, and they're actually all the same size. And here I'm gonna load the car. And these coil loads actually come with a weight inside, so they kind of gravitate to the middle. You could also add in a divider. With the loads in, it has a nice weight to it. There's also 2 more dividers, but they don't fit in the 6 coil one. I also got the BNSF coil steel car, and this one has a Burlington Northern shell as well. Alright, let's start here in the front. Got a labeling on top here, more printed elements. It's interesting that they added FRA striping in the corners. That is not typical. And here's how it looks like from the side. There's lots of printed details, and there is this older style BNSF stenciling here. And we have this BNSF hood, has the modern swoosh logo. It also has a kind of salmon pink color, and a random rectangle here. Moving down the car, we have some FRA striping at the bottom. Then we have this light lime green colored hood for Burlington Northern. BN is the predecessor to BNSF, so the BN part. There's more details at the bottom, and then here's what it looks like on the other side. The brake wheel is painted in black. And here's how it looks like on this side. So besides the livery, how are these two cars different? Well, the BNSF one uses the flat racks on top, while Union Pacific is the only one with these triangles. Also, the BNSF has yellow FRA striping on top of the running board, while on the Union Pacific, it's underneath. So here are all 4 hoods stacked on top of each other. You can see they're all different designs. Union Pacific has 2 points here in the middle, while all the other ones just have 1. Also, BNSF has these brackets on the ends, which are not present on BN. Now for the interior cradle, it's actually different as well. The BNSF one actually has a hand-painted watch on it, so there's a weathering, while the UP one looks brand new. Now you guys may have remembered I had a CSX Coil car from ScaleTrains before. This one only has 1 hood and it's a 42 footer, so it is shorter than a 48 foot. And here's how it looks like on the inside. And here's just a size comparison between the two. And despite the size difference, you can still stack it. But I'm not sure if they actually do this or not. Also, the middle beams are different lengths as well. This one has a flat face with nubs at the bottom, while the other one has just railing in the middle. They also do come with different loads. I really like the look of these steel coil loads. They look pretty realistic. While the CSX one comes with this wrapping, which you do have to apply the sticker yourself, which I didn't like. It's also a different size. The newer coil loads are actually all the same size, while the CSX one has a bunch of variety. It is a bit tricky though with different sizes because you have to put it in a certain order or it won't close properly. Definitely these twin coil cars are much more interesting. The ScaleTrains Conrail C39-8 is definitely a pretty cool locomotive with a Norfolk Southern patch, lots of fine realistic details like the MU cable sagging to one side, this yellow EOT device holder, etched metal parts, and tiny legible writing. And I wasn't even aware that it would come with this covered up horn. I had never seen this before. Conrail was an iconic American Class 1 railroad which got ate up by CSX and Norfolk Southern, so they no longer exist, but I do still love their Conrail blue livery. The blue color actually looks even better in person. It's more of a deep blue than my camera picks up. Now for the cons of this locomotive, the only thing I would really change is that for some reason ScaleTrains disables the ditch lights in DC for standard cab locomotives, and the side cab windows can be a little finicky to move around, but other than that, it's a pretty solid locomotive. Now for the two hooded Coil Cars, it's definitely a worthy piece of rolling stock. Lots of cool realistic details. I love the mismatching of the hoods. It gives a nice variety, and at first glance you think all these hoods are pretty much the same design, maybe just the livery difference, but they actually do have these subtle differences. As for the steel coil loads themselves, they look pretty great, has a nice weight to it. I love the fact that I didn't have to add in stickers like my past Coil Cars, also great for a background element. Definitely I would recommend getting this 2-headed car over the 42-foot Coil Car. There's just a lot more in this. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Sorry I haven't posted in a while. Let me know down in the comment section what you guys think. If you guys want to see more videos like this, hit the like button down below, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.